Thank you very much, Cathaoirleach. Minister, thanks for coming in and dealing with this issue this evening. In January this year, I asked you to investigate the situation regarding homicide figures. As you know, at the time, the policing authority had serious issues with regards to the stats that were given to them on this. There was internal tensions between the head of the Garda analysis and senior members of An Garda management regarding the categorisation of these crimes. As you are aware, in March, two very brave women, Ms Lois West and Ms Laura Galligan, came before the Oireachtas Committee on Justice and outlined their issues. Their testimony was the best testimony I've ever seen in these houses. They knew their information and knew their data and their work and the professional standards that need to be required better than anyone I've ever seen. They did an investigation into stats from 2013 to 2017, and furthermore they went back to 2003 as a result of that. They were refused under pressure, considerable pressure, to sign off on statistical reports they couldn't stand over. But they also told the Justice Committee that they felt belittled, undermined and their professional standards ignored. As a result of this, a review of homicides and other stats that have been provided to the CSO has been conducted. Garda management at the time didn't want this information coming out, I believe, because it was damaging to their reputation. I want to know, as a result of their work, has there been analysis done of pulse? Is it fit for purpose to maintain stats? Are Gardaí being trained as a result of the revelations from those two brave women? Were all the investigative procedures put in place to ensure stats were correctly being brought together? And has the administration of Pulse to provide the stats and other systems in the background been changed since January of last year? I note that last week there was a further report from the CSO in relation to crime stats, which were very worrying in relation to the increase of serious crimes. But I also note that they said that regarding the stats, that the stats being provided were being provided under reservation. So I want to know, is this going to change, and when is it going to change, Minister? And has there been any investigation into the treatment of these two women? But furthermore, tonight, Minister, I want to know specifically, have Gardaí in the past and currently been handling personal crime data on citizens of this state in the correct manner? Have the Gardaí ever passed on to the CSO not just crime stats, but the names and details of perpetrators of serious crime, the names and details of suspects for committing those serious crimes, and the names and details of the very victims of such serious crime? Has this ever happened? Is it happening currently, or has it changed in the recent past? In other words, have the Gardaí been given personal information regarding victims, regarding perpetrators and suspects to the CSO as part of the transfer of data? And is the Minister absolutely confident, if this was the case, and I'm asking him if it was the case, to confirm that neither the Statistical Act 1993 or the Data Protection Act 2018 have in any way been breached? I also want to know, Minister, has in any way the Garda Commissioner, probably the acting Garda Commissioner in the past, invoked Section 41 of the Garda Siochana Act to inform you of anything in relation to this? Or has the policing authority been informed of any concerns in relation to this? And will you admit, if there was any breaches like this, it would be a very serious issue indeed? Thank you.
Earlier this week, the Central Statistics Office published their second quarterly crime stats release of this year under reservation. Deputy Kelly will be aware the CSO formally recommenced the publication of the statistics on the 28th of March of this year with the full year's figures for last year. This is a vitally important development for a number of reasons, but particularly for the management of criminal justice policy and Garda operations, in order that we have regular publication of the CSO crime stats to allow for a targeted response to the matter of crime. There is a well-documented body of work ongoing in this area to ensure that the Central Statistics Office can stand over the figures they release as being both a true and accurate reflection of the level of criminality in our society. we must bear in mind that issues with the consistent recording of crime data are not unique to this jurisdiction. However, this notwithstanding, I remain determined that a strong focus remains on the need for improvements in this area. I'm satisfied that the work of An Garda Siochana, in conjunction with the CSO and the policing authority, will soon return the crime statistics to the higher standard expected by our National Statistics Agency. The Deputy will recall on the 27th of July last year, I published the report of the CSO-led expert group on crime statistics. The expert group was established to specifically address 6 recommendations arising from the Garda Inspectorate report on Crime Investigation 2014, which directly related to the compilation of crime statistics. During the course of the group's meetings, a number of new measures were implemented on the Garda Pulse databases with the objective of improving data quality. These were outlined to the group by An Garda Siochana. Moreover, since the setting up of the expert group, a liaison group was set up between the Central Statistics Office and An Garda Siochana as a formal high-level mechanism for consultation and communication between both organisations that will facilitate cooperation, ensure that both organisations can fulfil their respective statutory obligations for the production of crime statistics as set out in the Garda Síochána Act 2005, and in accordance with the procedures and indeed the requirements of the Statistics Act 1993. The group, inter alia, also oversees the implementation of the recommendations of the expert group. In addition, Cathaoirleach, a revised Memorandum of Understanding between the CSO and An Garda Síochána was signed last year. CSO has already carried out 2 detailed reviews of crime data quality, 2015-2016. I understand that further general reviews of crime data quality are planned. The Central Statistics Office's work provides an important measure of reassurance to support ongoing work to enhance the quality of the official crime statistics.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Minister, and thanks for your reply. I'm aware of much of the information, if not all of the information inside in it. I suppose, Minister, to be honest, I'm not trying to catch you out here, genuinely. I know you're shaking your head, but I just have specific questions. I take you at your word. I just want to know some information. And if you don't have the information, that's fine too. You can let it be known in the next 24 hours. I just want to absolutely be certain that in the past and currently, An Garda Síochána, when they're given information to the CSO, have not been given personal details of victims of crime, victims of very serious crime, murder, rape, etc., and also have not been given the details of the perpetrators of said crimes, or indeed been given the details to the CSO of potential suspects, plural, of those crimes. And if so, that's fine. But if not, why haven't you been told about it? Is the department aware of this? Was the Garda Commissioner aware of it? Was the previous Garda Commissioner aware of it? What have they done about it? Has it changed in the recent past? Have they stopped this practice if it was taking place? And has the Statistics Act 1993 or the Data Protection Act 2018, or both, been breached as a result of this? Are there other serious legal issues as a consequence outside of just privacy and data protection? And furthermore, were the policing authority informed? I want to know that what happened since January of this year, the clean-up that was meant to happen, and you outlined some actions, that practices like this, 1, didn't happen, and 2, if they did happen, they have finished. And I want to know that everyone, the citizens of this state, their information, whether they were perpetrators of crime, victims of crime, or indeed suspects, particularly victims I'm concerned about, that their information was sacrosanct and protected at all times.
Well, I want to assure Deputy Kelly, indeed I want to assure the House that I'm determined to ensure that a strong focus remains on the need for improvements in this area. I welcome ongoing collaboration between the CSO and An Garda Siochana, and having regard to the important oversight role of the policing authority. I'm sure Deputy Kelly will agree that it's entirely appropriate that this matter be the subject of careful examination and inquiry by the policing authority. If Deputy Kelly has any evidence of wrongdoing, a breach of law, I ask him to put that in writing to me. And of course, if there are any irregularities of the type that have been implied yet again by Deputy Kelly, I would be happy to ensure that an appropriate investigation takes place. I want to assure the House that the Central Statistics Office has indicated that improvements to Garda data quality have been achieved in recent times. Important IT upgrades are being made, which, together with the enhanced supervision and review processes, will facilitate greater accuracy and indeed greater consistency in crime data. But of course all this must be within the law. However, it will take a period of time for the full effect of the Garda system upgrades to be reflected in the official crime statistics. For my part as Minister, and indeed my government colleagues, remain committed to ensuring that An Garda Siochana have all the resources required to carry out their vital functions, including improving data quality. This will be reflected next week in the Garda budget. But I want to assure the House in conclusion that I'm determined to ensure that improvements in this area are appropriate and are carried out. And in this regard, I will continue to engage directly with Commissioner Drew Harris in achieving this goal.